Hey, and welcome to the Vergecast for the week of what I'm told is July 22nd, 2013. I'm Josh Topolsky.
I'm Nilay Patel.
I'm Ross Miller.
It's weird that we're not together.
I know, and we don't have the monitor anymore. We just see Josh's face across from us at all times.
What I said to my people, my handlers, is that I no longer want my body to travel outside of the home.
Yes.
And I think it's going to work. I think it's going to be great.
It's been far too long. I've missed your gun diagram back there.
No, I'm saying you're a real bubble boy.
I'm a real life bubble boy with all the hopes and dreams that a bubble boy can have. Those are including but not limited to going outside of the bubble. I'm actually a bubble boy by choice. My goal is to be in the bubble for as long as possible.
Oh, BB by C.
Under the dome, if you will. Be under the dome.
Yeah.
All right.
Is that good? I haven't seen that at all. There's a lot of tweets about it in my life, and
yeah, Laura and I watched 30 minutes of it the other day, and it's not great TV in my opinion.
Really? That's a shame.
I'm at the point now where
I bet the book is good.
Where other people experience things for me, and then I read the tweets, and then I'm like, I'm good.
That's good enough.
Yeah.
I basically know what's happening here.
Yeah.
Anyhow, this is the Vergecast where we discuss the week in Verge-related topics. And what a week it's been. What a week we've had to experience.
It's been actually a really busy week of news. July.
It's been a very busy week.
Let's end July with news, everyone. Let's
end July.
Yeah.
Let's just end it.
While you're doing that, go ahead and let's get on to the first topic. While you're doing that, I'm going to attempt. This is probably a bad idea. I was going to attempt to set up a magic trackpad. You know, just forget it. I'm not.
Why would you do that now?
We're kind of in the middle of a live broadcast.
Well, I'll tell you. If I had to go into the explanation of why I wanted to do it, it would be. Let's just
flicks and swipes.
Yeah, just
what?
Sometimes you want to swipe things.
You need multiple fingers, multiple gestures.
I have my laptop. I'm using my FaceTime HD camera here on my MacBook Air, and I actually had to prop it up on some books because it's a little bit low. Like, and the angle is really weird.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, it's so hard to use this trackpad.
So you're going to set up a trackpad.
I have
on
a magic
laptop?
trackpad sitting here that I haven't set up with my new computer.
Don't you have like a USB mouse? Isn't that like also a...
Let me see what I have here.
I would just imagine that your home, like my home, is full of mice.
Right.
Oh, hey, hold on.
I have like an original Apple Pro mouse.
My fear is that I try to connect something via Bluetooth.
You know where it is?
I know where it is.
Wow.
It's the one with the translucent black inside.
Right.
Probably the coolest mouse.
I haven't used
one of the most useless.
used a mouse in like 1,000 years.
Are you worried that you're not going to know how to do it?
I'm worried that it's gonna screw up.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, it did.
Oh, wait.
This connection.
It did.
It did?
No, you're back. You're back now.
I would point out that
frozen.
your computer literally just freaked out when you plugged in the mouse.
Yeah.
Isn't the computer brand new?
Okay, that's what Bluetooth does, I guess, when you turn it on a Macintosh.
Wow. All right.
Okay, how's it going?
Macintosh computer. Okay.
You feel good
we're
though?
good.
You
Let's
feel
do
in
news.
control?
Let's talk about news.
All right.
I thought we were going to talk about Ashton Kutcher.
Oh, do you want to start with that?
It's the first thing on Ross's list.
I mean, we can go wherever. I was just saying we can just get this out of the way, mention that it happened.
Oh, look, it's news on the site. Let's do something newsy for once in our lives.
All right.
We put up a big interview with you and Ashton today.
Yeah, you talked to AK.
Yeah.
A plus K.
A plus K.
Yeah.
A plus K.
How'd it go?
Yeah. So he is doing this movie about Steve Jobs called Jobs. You've probably heard of it.
Or J.O.'s.
And so here's the funny thing is that Ashton became an advisor to Vox Media, which is the parent company of The Verge. It happened like it was like a random thing that Jim Bankoff, our CEO, was like, oh yeah, he's actually going to be like advising us. And I don't really know what advisors do. My impression is that, and this is what all I've heard is that every once in a while when Jim is in LA, he like has coffee and Ashton like gives him like, is like, hey, have you, is like talks to him about stuff. I don't know like what they talk about. Because I certainly don't, Jim certainly isn't like, hey, Ashton really thinks you guys should cover more dinosaur stuff.
Yeah.
But
although that probably does happen.
Like and if he
we just don't hear about
we're happy to cover dinosaurs.
Little
like
fact,
whatever
Ashton Kutcher loves
Kutcher.
dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Loves
Whatever
them.
you need. No, it's nothing specific. So I feel like they just kind of rap about stuff. But we've been actually asking to like do an interview with him for ages and like have gotten
for years.
Yeah.
For a really long time, and like advisor status, no advisor status has not helped us at all. But he's now doing some conversations with people about this movie Jobs, and we finally were able to like get it. Like, it wasn't enough that like we have some kind of like he knows Jim and advises. It's like we just had to like wait for the right moment. So we had a chance to go, and we met him in Chicago. It was the only time that he could do it and that we could do it was we had to go to Chicago and sit down and have an interview with him. And we actually had a really long, pretty lengthy interview. I mean, you saw it. It's on the site right now.
It was supposed to be like a half hour. It was a full, I think actually like a full hour in the whole run.
So we had to cut it down. We had to cut it down a bit because the show would have been much longer. And also a lot of it was just us like randomly, like just like rapping about random stuff.
Right.
Anyhow, it was actually a really interesting conversation for me because I had never had a real deep conversation with him about. I'd actually met him once before when I was in LA, but it was like a very. It was like more like a what are you doing kind of conversation.
Yeah.
And this was like, hey, let's talk about the stuff you think about and why you care about it. So he actually, I mean, the thing is, he's a pretty interesting guy and he's got some pretty interesting views on technology. I actually thought his stuff about Twitter, he talks, and you should definitely, if you've not watched the interview, I highly recommend it if you're a viewer or a reader of The Verge. But some of his stuff he said about Twitter and the retweets and how they changed like the kinds of conversations you can have on Twitter, I thought were really pretty smart, pretty good intellectual take on some of the problems that Twitter has, and some of the problems he's had with Twitter, I guess. And I thought it was really interesting what he had to say about why he wanted to play Steve Jobs in a movie. And I said to him, like, I think it's a huge kind of like an egotistical move to go like, I'm gonna play, like, you know, it's like one of the most brilliant, creative, incredible people that's ever lived. Like, I'm gonna play him in a movie. And you know, the fact that he just died is, you know, it's only been 2 years or not even, I don't know, but it's like pretty close to the moment. So it's kind of a big, he has an interesting explanation for why he wanted to play Jobs, which, you know, I saw the movie. He gets some things really right. He gets some things really wrong. His voice is, and I said, bring this up, you know, it's
Kelso.
Doesn't sound like Jobs. And the movie treads like really familiar territory. If you've seen Pirates of Silicon Valley, it's very similar. It's really, really similar, like almost identical in terms of its arc. And I don't know if it's enlightening. And I think that for a large audience, it's actually kind of a little bit nerdy. Like the movie goes into stuff, you know, there's scenes like where he's talking about how much RAM like the Mac should have had. And, you know, for like a major motion picture, like, I'm not sure that people are that interested in how much RAM.
Well, so you know what I think is interesting about all these movies? And, you know, there's the one from Sony with like Aaron Sorkin, right?
That's
that was an incredibly interesting format too. We'll get to that in a second though.
Right. But there's a lot of movies, like people want to tell stories about Steve Jobs and like the things he made. And what's really interesting is that early part of his life is the well-documented part. And the part afterwards, which is, I think, the interesting part. Post-iPod.
Right.
Where he made the iPhone and like all that stuff is like really sparsely, like there's like a series of keynote videos and like Wall Street Journal articles. Right. And it's like, that's it.
And
it's
the thing is, like, the Sorkin piece isn't going to cover that either. I think the Sorkin piece also ends at the iPod announcement.
Yeah, like how do you make a movie about Steve Jobs and not be like, dude made the iPhone? I don't understand that at a conceptual level.
I think that what's really interesting is that, and I get, look, the story of his young life to his you know, career at Apple and his, you know, his defeats and successes can be told really easily in that era of young man in college to sort of getting kicked out and then coming back, you know, which is what this movie covers. I do think there is, and maybe it's a more nuanced thing, maybe it's a harder story to tell, but I think the period from the post-iPod period, I mean, I would be very interested to know more about, you know, if you read the book, the Isaacson book, it's sort of clear that him finding out about his cancer sort of drove him to do things in a short period of time that maybe he wouldn't have achieved or wouldn't have been able to achieve had he not been driven by this sort of fear of death, you know, and dying before he got certain things done.
It was interesting to me when, like, I think Eddie Q actually used that as an excuse during the ebook antitrust case. It's like, do you know you did something wrong? It's like, well, look, Steve is dying. Like, that's not a reason to break the law.
Right.
But
well, you know, so it's interesting about the Isaacson book. I was traveling a lot in May, and I literally ran out of things to read on my my Kindle app, like on the plane. So I had it, so I was like flipping through it again, and I realized that like when they get to the iPhone in the Isaacson book, like the book gets really boring and bad. Like it's literally like Jobs and his people dictating like what happened and how it happened, and like the things they scrub over are like really insane. Where he's like, we made the iPad because I was pissed at some engineer at Microsoft. It's like, dude, that's not what happened. That's definitely not what happened.
But I think what happens is you get into this minutia of. I mean, we may find it interesting, but I think an average audience would not find it interesting. And the question is, I think ultimately how interesting is the other part of his story. And to be perfectly honest, like watching this movie, it kind of stood out to me that his story is not. It's the story of a guy who was a big personality who had some problems in business, but then he like sort of course corrected and ended up being really successful. It's not a story of a guy who had everything and then lost everything. Like he had everything and then he lost like a position and he still was like a well-off businessman who started a brand new company.
And then he was like, I'm going to make Pixar. And it's like, oh.
Right. And then he had Pixar, which they don't touch on at all. They don't touch on it all in this movie. I mean, they don't even talk about Pixar. And then he went back to Apple and had tremendous success. So it was like, it's a little bit like, are we making more? I'm not saying Steve Jobs wasn't an enigmatic, incredible character, but, are we making a little bit more out of his story than is necessary? And that's one of the things that I thought while I was watching the new movie. I will say this. It's clear that Ashton really cares about his story, the story, and it's clear that the people who made the movie really wanted to tell a great story about Steve Jobs. I think it's difficult material to really get into, to buy into, and then I also think that having seen something like Pirates of Silicon Valley. Hello?
Josh, you're like de-resing. Like you're literally falling into like a collect. Like the step after this is ones and zeros. I'm just like,
Can you not see me?
I see you. I mean, it's like the Matrix. It's like blonde, brunette, redhead.
This is the problem. This is the problem with Time Warner Cable.
Yeah.
And their awful service. Or it's Apple. It's my router problem.
Right.
It's hard to say. Anyhow, the point is, you can hear me and see me, right?
We can. I mean,
we don't want to see. It's actually kind of a ghastly look, but yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah, I mean, you literally look like the very first computer-generated man right now.
It's like Van Gogh or Rorschach.
Better.
I mean,
you're not on the camera anymore. I guess that's better.
Really?
Yeah,
it's fine.
It's super weird.
Yeah.
I can't even. I mean, it's like you don't have eyes. Like it's like there's like the frame of your glasses and then like a flesh-colored spot.
I kind of see a pupil now.
I'm doing everything I can. I'm shutting down all processes on this computer.
Yeah.
In order to regain some semblance.
I'm willing to blame Time Warner Cable. To be perfectly honest with you.
Let's blame Time Warner and also maybe Skype.
Sure. Skype has been delightful.
Okay. Is it any better now or is it still bad?
No. It's a little. Okay.
Wow,
fine.
really?
It's a little bit.
Can we crank up? Can we increase the bandwidth? Is there a lever
just
somewhere?
Add more bandwidth.
Yeah, just reach down under your seat and just turn that up.
There's definitely like a lever that says more bandwidth, and you just crank it.
Oh, here it is, the bandwidth switch. Why wasn't I? Why didn't I use that? Do you want me to turn my video off? Is it bothering you guys?
No. This is
fine.
fine.
Just keep going.
Are you sure?
You're better. You got way better.
What if I just did that?
No. We
turn it back on.
definitely prefer.
If I did this. Hold on. How's
Better.
that?
It's better.
Keep it.
If it gets bad again, then I'll just turn the video off.
All right, that's fine though.
Anyhow, so I was going to say that I don't know what I was saying. I was just saying that this story is kind of hard for people to get into, and I think the people who made it really cared about the story. But at the end of the day, I don't know. I don't think it's that great of a film.
I mean, the film
for several reasons,
right?
Not the least of which is that Ashton does just kind of sound like Kelso.
Yeah, I mean,
it's true. Like, it's just his voice does not sound anything like Steve, and like Steve had a very distinct voice.
It's just unfortunate that they thought like the Steve Jobs story itself was enough to do a SparkNotes version that would be exciting.
Right.
And, like that's why it's like there's a Sorkin one that no one's been talking about anymore because it's just been so far off in the future. But like, it's an interesting format, just doing like 20-minute or 30-minute chunks, like in real time of different moments, not trying to fill in the pieces. I'm excited to see the experiment. But, like the Jobs story and the Jobs person, I feel different. And I think the person's interesting. The story is just...
I think if you look at The Social Network, which is probably the most successful film ever made about a technology startup,
right?
Which is what Apple was, what Sorkin does and what in that script is he cleverly really tells the story of Facebook through these vignettes, these like moments of treachery, and he doesn't really focus too much on detail. There's a little bit of how do we do this, or they have this fake moment where Zuckerberg like makes some revelation about we should show relationship statuses, which didn't happen, but
right.
But the point is that it's really shown through these moments of sort of people being screwed over, and like they kind of try to show what a conniving character this Mark Zuckerberg is in the film, and this movie doesn't have any of that. It doesn't have any of that. It doesn't study those moments of treachery or moments of, difficulty. It goes into like sort of like that he was a rageaholic sometimes, but you don't really. They never really live in those moments. And I think that's the place that makes a narrative work.
Right.
So
why would you do this way?
Yeah. So Josh, you may not be able to see us, but so we've got the Nokia Lumia 1020 on the table right here. Neilai's trying to figure it out.
Well, it's in the camera grip.
Yeah.
Which is just like.
Oh, you have it in the dock thing.
Oh yeah.
Let
me try to.
I tried to get it out of the dock before we started. I couldn't do it. I just couldn't figure it out.
I was playing with it yesterday, and I was a little shocked to learn that.
Hold on, let me open Instagram. Wait.
It doesn't really do any kind of macro. Like their explanation for lack of macro, I guess, is like
you can just zoom
later, but that totally changes. Like if you want to do like macro with like kind of a bokeh like depth of field, like you can't really. It doesn't really work that way when you're like far away from your subject.
Right. Well, there's like a fake kind of macro thing you can do.
I don't think there is.
They were showing it to me at the event. Anyway, so we did the review.
We did.
Yeah.
David did it. Which, by the way, I'm just going to take full credit for the first line of his review.
Okay.
Wow.
Which was on Saturday night, Yankee Stadium exploded. Which I thought was extremely hilarious.
Yeah.
I'll give you that one.
And I think everybody. Okay, first of all, I was very surprised by the reaction to the review after having reviewed the Lumia 920.
Why is that?
Because we gave the Lumia 920 like a middling score, and then the death threats came.
Right.
We gave this an okay score.
Actually, I thought 8.1 was a surprisingly high score.
Yeah, Dave and I talked about it at length. It's a great phone, right? It's enormous.
It's a great camera.
It's a great camera. Okay, fine. It's a great camera. It is the best Windows phone that is available. I think that is clear. I think if you're going to buy into the platform, you should buy this one. It's really hard to get it out of the stock.
See?
By the way. The fact that it has this crazy ass grip is kind of cool. I don't.
Oh, there you go.
I don't know that it's worth it in any meaningful way. Here, have this.
It's a nice little battery chunk.
It's a nice piece of hardware.
Yeah,
it's a nice piece of hardware. This lens is ridiculous.
It feels really great.
The fact that you can't like put it on a table is like silly.
But I mean, kind of similar to the one wobbling around.
But it's missing all this software, right? It's missing. It's missing an incredible amount of here. I'm holding it. It's missing an incredible amount of capability because it's running Windows Phone. And what's interesting to me is that the Windows Phone fans in our comments are all like, "Yep, that's fair." It's fair to just say like it's the third place, and I think the line from David's review. Are they all saying that? I mean, not all of them. Some of them are insane, and some of them are not. That's the way it goes.
The one you care though, the ones you do care about though.
The ones you do care about. The normals. They're saying things like, I mean, so the line from David's review that I thought was like the big takeaway is first place hardware, third place software.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's totally right. I mean, that's just where the platform is. And you can argue with me about, and David and I actually argued about Instance, which is the Instagram client, because I was like, you have to mention it. And he's like, no, I don't. Because it's like, it costs money. It's not an official client. Like on every other platform, the official client is free, right? So if you're going to use Windows Phone, you have to pay extra money to use all these weird other clients, which is fine. And that's like that ecosystem and how it works. And if you believe in it, that's great. And some of the weird other clients are even better than the official clients. But the average person buying this phone is like, now pay $20 other to use all the services you want. And that's just, you got to deal with it. But it's a really cool camera.
It is, but that's the thing is like you take amazing pictures and then what? I think that was the point David made. He was taking great pictures at the Jay-Z concert that he was doing this Yankee Stadium line. And then he didn't know what to do with them. Like he couldn't share them. And then by the time he got home, it was like it didn't matter to him as much. Like he was trying to share a moment.
Right.
You just can't do
it.
And
this is a real thing. So I have a few friends who are like super into Instagram now, which is interesting. I actually think the Instagram, I'm beginning to think that buying Instagram is like the smartest thing Facebook could have done. Because the number of my friends who have gone from using Facebook to using Instagram is increasing by the day. Because it turns out that all Facebook is really good for is photos.
Right. I mean, I update my status, like whatever. No, I don't do that. Like,
I never do that.
Like, someone's a birthday, and then here's pictures.
Yeah. I have one. I have a large number of crazy family members who post their screeds about whatever side of the political spectrum they're on. and that's like Facebook.
That's
and then
enough.
I have Instagram, which is like people taking cool photos.
Right.
And that's like really what I want to look at. So like,
Yeah.
it's great. You know, like you can. And those people who are really in Instagram, they keep asking me like, I want to use a better camera than the one in my phone, and I don't know what to tell them.
Right.
Like I literally don't know what to tell them because it's like, I can tell you to buy a camera, but then what I'm really telling you to do is like, buy an SD card and put it in your computer and like screw with it and then get it onto your phone somehow. And like there are all these little solutions to make that easier, but none of them are really good.
Right.
And they're like not what you want. And this, the 1020 could be the thing, but it's missing the piece. It's just missing the piece that will like make that puzzle work. And it just has to, like whatever Nokia and Microsoft have to do to Kevin's system, they should do it.
And I mean, look,
I don't believe in. I know some people do this thing where they take photos with a real camera and then they upload them to Instagram, which I think is cheating and defeats the purpose of Instagram.
Yeah.
Why not? Like, here's an idea. Like, take a picture with film and then process it like in your lab.
Right.
And give it one of those effects like while processing it. Like
Right.
that would be, then you could have a real Instagram picture. Like that's the whole point of Instagram is that you're not processing an actual piece of film. You're not taking a photo with a real camera. Like you're on your cell phone.
Right.
And that's what Instagram gives to the photos is that it makes it feel like a real photo.
Right.
But anyhow, but to your point, what you're getting at here is, but there's this solution where there's kind of a pretty good phone with a really good camera.
Yeah.
The only problem is it doesn't have Instagram, which is, a problem for people who use Instagram.
Right.
But not for anybody.
But I think
else.
if you want to get the mass market, you have to deliver the mass market services.
and that seems to be
Like,
like,
if you had a
I don't
phone that
want-
didn't have Facebook or Twitter, we'd be sitting here going, "What are you doing?"
right.
Right.
Well, I don't disagree, but you're always at a disadvantage when you're in third place or when you're trying to make, it was like with WebOS. I remember they did the same thing. Like there were all sorts of weird hacky apps that were quasi real versions of apps that were just like somehow plugging into their API or doing some weird hacky stuff to make them work. Like I remember I used a Google Voice app for WebOS. It was just a total hack,
Right.
And there were other ones off the top of my head. I can't think of them right now, but I know there were a handful of, well, we don't really have the real app, but we've got like this version that sort of works with the website. And that stuff is pretty painful for users because they never quite work the right way.
Right.
I think Facebook, they had a few Facebook apps, and even Android for a long time before they. I mean, there was a period you don't remember where Facebook was not on Android.
No, it was there.
Facebook
No, I remember that. Like, and then the actual real Facebook app that they made, the first versions were bad, right? Because they were like
terrible.
super
They were
HTML5.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
then
people had all
even on
kinds of,
top of that layer with the 1020, like I get it. That's like platform evolution. You're in third place. You got to get there. You're going to get there. Microsoft has a lot of money. They have an investment in Facebook, which owns Instagram. I can't imagine how they're not getting there.
And like honestly, to Nokia's credit, like today, like they announced in YouTube upload, Nokia made a YouTube upload app that Microsoft and Google couldn't.
Right, but so here's the thing about like all that stuff is great.
Sucks, but
and then on top of it,
I'm gonna download it right now,
not
actually.
only do these companies have to make a Windows Phone app to really get at the camera on the 1020, they've got to use Nokia's
that's
SDK
right.
for the camera.
Yeah.
So the 41 megapixel, actually like 38, depending on and if you do it for real, they're 38
right.
megapixel photos that the camera takes. They're stuck in the ProCam app, and then every other app gets the 5 megapixel like shareable photos, which is like kind of not what you want. Like you don't want to go through all these steps. And so like not only does Instagram have to make a Windows Phone app, they have to like make one that understands this camera, which is on one phone, which probably isn't the end of the world because if anyone's going to buy a Windows Phone, they should buy this one.
It's a really good
but
camera.
the majority of Windows Phone devices in the world are not the 1020. They're
not
probably
right, not right at the second, right? So like I think like look, we just have to ask the question one more time, and then people are going to freak out. It's like, did they bet wrong?
Right.
I mean, look. I think I don't. I understand Nokia's reasoning behind going with Windows Phone. What I don't understand is when I look at the lineup of devices that are available, for Android. When I think about this thriving, growing platform that doesn't require, buy-in. Like at this point, you don't need to. If you're a developer. I mean, maybe if you're like an iOS-only developer, it's just like a diehard, like I'm making money off the iOS App Store. I don't need to mess around with anything else. But most developers now are going like, hey, there's a big-ass audience here.
Yep.
People are buying apps. People are using apps. There's a thriving ecosystem. Like, and maybe the scene was different 2 years ago. I mean, that's the thing. It was different 2 years ago. I think it was still, iOS was kicking ass. Microsoft had there was a different angle. They had certainly had.
Well, so what
their
Elop
design
said,
chops
what
were
he's been
tighter.
saying for the past week is, we knew Samsung would come to dominate Android, and we didn't want to play that game with them.
Which is
like the game
doesn't-
of.
That's such a myopic point of view, though.
But I guess their thinking was we need to just have a completely separate option, right? Which is fine.
They wanted to be
I
the
actually-
Samsung of Windows Phone. But here's the thing. It's like,
right.
Great.
You know what? You know who can definitely be the Samsung Windows Phone at a moment's notice? Samsung. Like,
No, that's true.
it doesn't matter. Like, dude,
here's
Samsung
what's
will
gonna
do
happen.
anything.
Here's the problem. If Windows Phone does continue to get a foothold and it gets to a point of market share that Samsung thinks is really attractive, they're going to start pushing the hell out of Windows Phone devices.
And like this,
they're going to be in the same boat, basically.
Right, and they're going to have they're still going to be Samsung. They're still going to have the brand. It's not like people are going to be like, "Oh, Galaxy, that's only an Android phone." Like,
Right.
they're just going to make it.
I mean, to me, like
I
it's
think
such a myopic point of view. Like it was so stupid of them because, like, to me, it's like I would rather be on a level playing field. You're assuming that Windows Phone and Android are equal. They're so not. But like, if you can make better hardware,
I
and
asked
Samsung
Elop.
makes shit hardware. If you
I
make
asked
good
Elop
hardware,
that question. Like, do you think hardware will bring people to your? And he's like, "It's the whole package." I don't know.
Yeah, but it is the whole package is really like, does this have Instagram for most people? Like that's the sad thing
Yeah, it
is
is.
that
Right,
is
and
that
that's
it's like,
look.
does this have
I get
Instagram?
the instance exists. Oh my God, it's yelling at me,
What is happening?
dude. This phone just started telling me that it's
AT&T is terminating because of an activity.
That's what it said.
Yes.
AT&T network is terminating because of an activity.
What
It just-
activity did
I
you
don't- I
just
don't know
do?
what that
I didn't
mean?
do anything. I picked it up.
Wait, should we be worried?
This is like some combination of Nokia and AT&T hating me in person.
Is AT&T like we're shutting down our network because the city's being blown up or
I don't know.
something?
You know, I have this joke with Seth Bloom, who's AT&T's PR person, that every
Yeah.
time I write something critical at AT&T, he makes my service bad because it happens every time.
Yeah, there's like a little
Yeah.
switch somewhere that's
And yeah, you know, at this point, he's like, "Yeah, no, I'm pressing the button right now," and then like my iPhone dies,
It's like
and I guess that's what's
there's
just
a
happening.
Patel. There's like a Patel.
Actually,
knob-
speaking of
knobs.
which, you
You
guys
wanna
want to
show
see
this?
something
Yeah, let's
insane?
do this.
This is today's Wall Street Journal.
This is
I didn't realize that
this
T-Mobile.
is
see
the
this.
biggest humble brag we can do right now.
It's not a humble. I didn't realize T-Mobile would go so insane. Like they're crazy.
Wait, you didn't realize
So the
T-Mobile
back
was so
page-
insane? Hold on, think
Wait,
about
hold on,
that.
Can I ask a question? Do they even clear these quotes with
They
us?
did. They did.
Okay.
But I didn't know that it would be.
Like this.
I didn't know that it would be a
Beneath
full
my pay
page
grade, I
bright
guess.
pink.
So
They're
this-
like, we want to use your quotes and ads, which like companies ask us all the time.
This is the
and
back
we just
of the
make sure they're
top
not.
section of Wall Street Journal.
This is the back. It's a giant pink T-Mobile ad with two quotes from our AT&T Next.
right.
So look, I'm glad.
Somebody's paying attention to us.
I'm glad.
Congratulations, Eli. You
I-
pissed off the
That's-
right
I actually
people.
have no
That's all-
idea
that's
how I
all
feel
the
about
right
this.
for
Like,
Verizon and
it's
AT&T.
cool.
They're
Like,
already
I
mad
guess
at
it's
us.
cool that like.
Yeah.
Like it's cool. Like it's cool for the Verge that people are using our quotes, but it's like you're still a phone carrier, man. If you
I
were
don't
the
know.
biggest,
I don't
most
know.
important
They
phone
do have-
carrier,
they-
would you
they
be
are
jerks?
making a slightly more attractive case for themselves at this point.
Yeah, because they're using our
I
quotes.
mean, no. I mean, like, I honestly was like looking at their plans. I mean, we did that piece the other day, breaking
Yeah.
down all these new plans, and there is some advantage to what they're doing.
Right, I mean,
here's the thing: I'm going to be bringing my own phone anyhow because
right.
I'm
Right.
just buying like a stock device. Mm-hmm. So to me, I mean, Verizon's out,
Yeah.
right? Altogether. Like, forget it. You want to stock Android?
Well,
phone,
actually,
okay.
we should just start talking about Google in a second because
Right.
what Google's
Yeah, we
doing.
should start talking about Google, but can we just cap off this Nokia
Absolutely.
Microsoft conversation for a second? I just think like I understand their reasoning 2 years ago. My question now is: is there any indication that they would consider doing Android devices?
I mean,
in addition to Windows
yeah, that's the
Phone
thing. I don't
devices?
understand why they're so all in.
Right.
I think that's like the real question that I have. Why not make even Samsung's not all in?
Even
right?
HTC, like
Right.
HTC's not all in. Samsung is making they're making Tizen phones.
Right.
I bet
They
they
got
make a Firefox
Bada.
phone. I think Bada got rolled into Tizen,
What?
which is just a phrase
Guys,
that I
what about
said.
my Bada app developer
it's
team.
it's
that
the
I just put
Voltron
together?
of dumb phone
Bada,
OSs.
and by the way, our headline. Can I just?
Bada
Who
bing?
wrote this? Sam Byford wrote this.
No.
In February 25th.
All right.
He literally wrote this headline. Samsung finally folding Bada into Tizen. The wait is
wrote that?
over, everyone. Sam Byford.
Who wrote that?
Sam Byford.
I don't know what you're doing, man. I mean, finally.
Well, he's been waiting for this day for a long time, and it's finally come, and he's celebrating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh my God.
So
Tizen phones will be able to run apps designed for Bada devices, but it won't be possible to upgrade a Bada phone to Tizen.
I've been waiting for years for that.
Hey, by the way, somebody just tweeted at me that they got an email from Stephen Elop about
a personal email.
This guy begged for an Android phone, and Elop wrote back, "Thanks for the comments. We are focused on Windows Phone. Regards."
Yeah, it's funny. So I got the same tweet, and it's funny that he sent it from Gmail and Android. Because I bet, and I just want to point this out. Let me ask you this question. I don't know, Yumi, I think is her name. Did that email that Elop wrote back to you, did that break your Gmail threading? Because I bet it did.
No, right. Oh, right. Because Windows Phone does all kinds of weird formats.
Well, the thing is,
it's the weirdest passive aggressive move.
It's like regular email. It's like, what's happening? Tom Warren replied, and then right back to regular emails.
I mean, if it didn't break the thread, then he's using.
No, it's like the weirdest, most like insane passive aggressive platform lock-in move, where it's like, well, guys, if you all use Windows Phone, your threads would work.
They're like, like it's like each character is saying. Sent by Windows Phone.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so okay, you want to talk about Google now?
Let's talk about Google. So the way I was going to get into it, here's the Nexus 7.
Your segue?
Yeah, this is my segue.
I gotta say, by the way, I have to say, I am fairly psyched about. So I've been using an iPad Mini. I love the iPad Mini. I think it's great. Mm-hmm. But what I realized, like, I pretty much all that I do on my iPad Mini is read books and magazines and feeds. Like, that's it. It's a reading device for me. And I like it a lot as a reading device. I love it as a reading device. Like, I read my feeds every night. Like, so by the way, maybe I've talked about this before, but when I go home from a day of working on the news, what I like to do is settle in with some news to read on my sofa. So I have like these personal feeds that I go through. Like, it's a lot of art and architecture stuff. And I like reading on the iPad Mini, but the other day I was like, you know what, I'm going to get my Nexus 7 out and mess around with it.
Yeah, right.
I was like, why not just have Gmail and all the other crap? Like, if I need to send an email or if I want to like use Chrome, like it's right there and I don't have to deal with.
Dude, my number of Android tablets that are like that thing, that irritate my wife. Like, it's like a stack of stuff that bothers Becky. And it's I really use. You use the Mini, but I just end up using my full size iPad every time.
So I got out my full size iPad the other day, and it was like I couldn't believe how huge and unwieldy it was. And then I got out the Nexus 10. And I was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, I can't type on this at all. Like, this makes no sense for me." But so I held the Nexus 7, the new Nexus 7 yesterday, and it is a perfect size. Mm-hmm. It is an awesome, perfect size.
Wait, you think these top and bottom bezels are the perfect size?
Well, no, because I'm usually holding it like
landscape
portrait.
No, in portrait it's ridiculous. Okay. No, dude, in portrait this looks more like a giant phone than ever before. It doesn't bother me that much. Hello?
I mean, here's what I like best about it. You can hold it with one hand. It's super thin. You can hold it with one hand, and I gotta say the screen looks really dope. It's like
the screen looks amazing.
It's so compact compared to even compared to the Mini. Like, I know it has bigger bezels on the top and bottom, left and right.
Those bezels look ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. If you're reading, I'm telling you, like, if you're reading a book or a magazine, in your hand is a lot more convenient than something like the iPad Mini, and the screen looks incredible.
Look, my only real complaint about this device is the bezels. I think everything else about it is really cool. I just think it looks insanely tall, and it's actually really surprising to me that you're so into it, given how much you hate 16:9 tablets.
Well, I do. This is like the most tablets, except it's so compact that it doesn't feel. I actually, when I first saw the pictures of it, I was like, this is like really tall for no reason. But when I held it in the office yesterday, I was like, oh, this feels great. Like, all I saw was that I could like hold it with one hand comfortably, and it had a really, really nice high resolution screen.
It does have a great screen.
16 by I like the 16 by 10 aspect ratio too. That feels good to me. Like,
can I tell you that I've
what?
I'd like to make a confession.
Confess.
Oh no!
I think on-screen buttons are stupid. I really do.
You think on-screen buttons are stupid?
I really do. Every time I see the keyboard on this thing and the space bar is right above the home button, I'm like, why are you wasting part of the screen for three buttons that I definitely only want to press on purpose?
Not to mention you'll hit one on accident.
On-screen buttons make a lot of sense for a tablet. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna say, like, when you're like hitting that home, when you're in landscape and you're hitting the home button on the side of the iPad, it's definitely like a little bit weird.
But like, yeah, I mean, I guess it just
throws off the symmetry of the thing.
But like, look at how much screen is being wasted by these buttons in landscape.
Well,
like, that's the screen. Like, I would rather be like, it's a little stupid to have the button on the side than be like, oh, a huge chunk of this screen is going away.
That's also designed like Android could just keep it on the smaller side. Like those buttons don't have to move. That's also software.
What's an
design.
app on here that will?
They do move though.
Yeah, they do, but they don't.
They do, and sometimes they go away. I get it, but like.
Anyhow, so the point is let's
right.
talk about their announcements yesterday.
Yeah,
okay?
Right, and like, real quick, the self promote. If you want more about Nexus 7, we're definitely the review's coming soon, and obviously top shelf. We're gonna have a big episode on all the Google stuff on Monday.
All right, Josh. Let's do the news.
Right,
so relatively low key event for Google with a significant number of announcements. So Nexus 7, new Nexus 7. They have a 16 and 32 gig version. Excuse me. Do those both have LTE options? By the way?
So actually, that was what I was going to say about Verizon.
So this is kind of like ridiculous, right? Like they have LTE built in. It's 229 and what 329?
So yeah, 32 gig LTE for 329, which is like.
And LTE, by the way,
I'm sorry, 349.
Mm-hmm.
The LTE is single SKU for T-Mobile, AT&T, and Verizon.
But so that's what I was trying to get at with Verizon. So it's only 700 megahertz LTE on Verizon. So it won't go to 3G. Verizon's building out LTE on.
Okay, but it's only you're saying it's LTE only. It doesn't go to 3G.
Right, which is kind of nuts. Like the thing that Google is doing, they did it with this. They did it with the Chromebook Pixel. They're building radios to connect the part of Verizon's network that you can connect to. Right, all that auction stuff. Like they're still working with Verizon. It's great. They're like getting the devices certified, which you have to do. But they are not even like considering the fact that Verizon has an entire other network that's totally locked down. Mm-hmm. They're only building devices for the open network, which I think is cool. Right. Well, it's a good move for Google. It's a good look. For
no, it's. I mean,
they did fight that whole fight.
But, wait, is it fully functional with 4G and LTE on AT&T?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So, but it's very cool that they're even able to. They're packaging this like single SKU. Like here you go.
Yeah.
Pick your carrier.
Right.
And do your thing.
Well, you can do that because AT&T also has 700 megahertz LTE. Like they can do it. Like they're doing the thing that you want, that I want every company to do, which is build one device that can connect to all the networks.
Phones and tablets. Yeah.
And they're doing it in what is a somewhat aggressive way because you won't be able to use this where Verizon doesn't have LTE, which is an ever shrinking number of markets, but it's still kind of like. It's cool. It's like they fought the fight to get the 700 megahertz open access rules, and now they're kind of like using them.
And on a more fundamental level, it's like it's the thing you buy a device and you pick the carrier later.
Right.
Which isn't matter as much for tablets. It'll matter a lot.
Just do it with the new Nexus 4. Just do that for me.
Or
I don't
as
think
we keep thinking about next week, the Moto X.
Huh?
But the Moto X is not going to be their flagship device.
Well, not Google's. No.
Yeah, do it with
or is it?
No, they'll make a new Nexus 4.
Absolutely.
Well, what's weird is that they've got the Nexus. They've got these Google Play editions,
right?
And they've got the Nexus 4.
Yeah. By the way, the Google Play editions.
Why not just do the Moto X as like another version of a Google Play edition?
Well, I mean, here's the other thing though. Like, I mean, there's a rumor today about like Samsung's making the next Nexus tablet. I think Google's still very interested in the Nexus program, despite like you wanting like the S4 hardware.
Well,
to have
stock. What Sundar said at D was. The Nexus program is where we make advancements in hardware.
Right.
Yeah, but they don't. But it's not. That's a lie. I mean, that's a lie. Like, let's be clear. That is 100%
yesterday
bullshit.
when Hugo Barra was on stage talking about this tablet, which was made by Asus, he was like, "We did this and we did this." He was not like, "And Asus made these decisions." Like,
no, I
don't think
that,
Asus
but
makes this on their own.
But if you look at,
I've seen the other stuff they make.
But if you look at the Nexus 4, it is an LG phone with completely spec'd exactly like an LG phone that was on the market.
Yep.
Lacking LTE, so it lost a feature in the translation. All that they did was put stock Android on it. The Galaxy S4 and the HTC One are much better phones.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Than their flagship. And when they released the Galaxy Nexus, like 2 or 3 months later, Samsung did the Galaxy S3.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it was like a better version of that phone.
Right.
So I don't believe that they're doing this. We're doing this
I think
cutting edge.
I think they're still going to do. I think if you're, I think I think there's a lot of things at play, right? If you're Asus, it's like this is the only like Google is dragging you, kicking and screaming into relevancy with Android. So like you're happy about that,
right?
If you're Samsung or Motorola or I'm sorry, Samsung or HTC or whatever other LG, you're worried that Motorola will become the place where Google puts its like hardware efforts. And this is a way for Google to like reassure those companies that they're still going to do partner devices and partners are still important and Motorola's firewalled off and blah, 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 blah. So like, I think there's a lot of like political reasons for them to still do Nexus. I don't know if there's a lot of like consumer reasons. Because what are they going to do? Like, dude, the new droids that came out, like they have cool features that Android 4.3 announced yesterday does not have.
Right, and we should talk about those because like a lot of people think this is a precursor to the Moto X announcement next week.
Well, let's finish Google because the Nexus 7 is like kind of not the most interesting.
No, absolutely not. Especially this is kind of the reason why we're late too, because we wanted to like see how.
Because I was playing with a Chromecast. Okay, I'll just admit it. Josh, we were late to the show because I was screwing around with the Chromecast. Is Josh still?
You know what? That's a classic Nilay move.
Classic.
I understand.
I just like to stream.
You're probably trying to see if you could connect an IR blaster to it.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Which makes sense.
I just like to take video from one place and stream it to another. That's
so wait, their Nexus announces for Nexus 7, Android 4.3, which is an totally incremental update in the software.
Doesn't matter.
And most importantly, oh God, excuse me. The Chromecast. You want to talk about the Chromecast? You want to share your take on the Chromecast as a device?
We'll have a review. I'm doing the review. I'm working on it. I literally just opened it today, so these are first impressions.
But spoiler, it's kind of awesome.
It's kind of awesome. So like, there's one part of it that's stupid, that is incredibly stupid, and I'll just start with this part that's stupid.
Okay, do it.
I took it out of the box, I plugged it into my TV, and nothing happened. And I was like, man, nothing is happening. Then I realized the reason nothing was happening is because I had not yet plugged it into power, which for a dongle that plugs into the back of TV is ridiculous.
Hold on a second.
It's redongulous.
God.
Josh is fired.
Counter argument, if it was any bigger, you wouldn't be able to like hide it that well.
No, it's fine. And like the thing that I did, which is the thing that most people will do, is there's a USB port in the back of the TV in my office that I never use for anything, and I just ran the USB cable from the back of the thing to the USB port, which is insane.
But still way better than like an Apple TV or any box you have to put like outside in front of your TV.
No, yes, it is better than those things, but it is still crazy. Like, it's like, why did you make this so small if it can't do, you know? Like,
I guess.
I get it. Anyway, so you do that, then you go to the Google website, you download an app on your computer to set it up. It like finds the Wi-Fi network that the thing sends out. It sets it up, it puts it on your Wi-Fi network, and then it's just there. And then when you switch to whatever input it's on, it just says like ready to cast. And then you're in Chrome, and you just like push the button. You install an extension in Chrome. You push the button, it sends a tab to the screen.
Wait, is the Chrome extension available now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it not for beta? It's like you can just get it for any version of Chrome.
Yeah, it says beta.
I mean, the extension says beta, but it's the version.
No.
Chrome.
But the extension is. Oh, here it is. Look at that.
Yeah. No, it's great. It's just an extension.
Wait a second. Is this really it? This is a third party thing. Oh, there it is. Google Cast is what it's called.
Yeah, it's called Google Cast. Okay. And it's great. Like, it just works. Like, that is like I know that's a very cliche phrase, but like we were testing it in the office and like I went from open the box to looking at a thing from my computer in like maybe 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I didn't realize like I missed a little bit of the announcements. I didn't realize how well the mirroring was working. Like, so when I use AirPlay mirroring for Apple TV, and we'll get the comparisons more.
Our Wi-Fi network in this office can be shaky, but it's usually pretty good.
Yeah, but like,
and like I think that's a big part of it.
Maybe we'll try it. I'll try it.
Our network here is fast when it works.
But like AirPlay, even like here, AirPlay mirroring, like it lags kind of like every now and then.
Yeah.
This thing lagged at the beginning, like it's like 2 second like delay, but otherwise it was pretty.
We
got
to try it out more. I will say that this is okay. So that's
right.
That's Chromecast.
I gotta say,
it's cost $35, and it at least in this 10-minute experience I had with it, it just worked. Like, it just did what it said it was going to do. Now, we have to try out the iOS apps. We have to try out the Android. Like, there's a lot of stuff left to do.
Right.
But, like, it did what it said it's going to do, which is, like, there's a button in Chrome, and it sends a tab to your TV. That's awesome.
Yeah.
But then there's a lot of stuff it can't do, right?
Yeah.
What are you saying, Josh?
Well, no, I was just going to say, like, I am psyched that they have this extension already. I just want to explain, can you just, before you go, since I have not used this, just before we go into whatever you're going to say next, I'm going to give you a scenario, okay, and you tell me what happens, all right? I go to a website, let's say Vimeo.
Yeah.
And I'm watching a video in my browser in the Vimeo window, like it's not full screen.
Yeah.
And I hit the Chromecast button, the Google Cast button. What happens?
It will send that entire tab to your screen.
So now,
what I don't know, because the whole tab, Flash playing in the tab, the whole thing.
Right.
It uses web. It's basically it's starting a video conference, right?
Okay.
So it's doing that. It's sending the whole tab. What I don't know is if the audio and the video will stay in sync. Dieter had some problems with it yesterday.
Okay.
So that's
it doesn't send the audio.
It does send the audio. but I don't know if they're going to be perfectly in sync.
Can you full? So I'm assuming if you full screen that
when I tried
video,
to full
it full
screen,
screens on your.
No, when I tried it with YouTube today, it did not full screen. It full screened on my, because the way Flash works, because Flash is janky. So the answer here is Flash is janky, and like.
Wait a second. So if I am watching, well, I have Flash turned off on my.
So if you're using Vimeo and HTML5, I don't know what happens.
Right.
Got to figure it out.
Yeah, really want to know. And you're saying I can't full screen the video on my television?
Right. So if you take a tab with Flash video playing, like YouTube, which I did today, and you send it to the Chromecast, and then you full screen the YouTube, the Flash takes over from Chrome and puts up the full screen. And because Chrome isn't sending that, all you see is like a black box on the screen because Flash stepped in front of Chrome. Because Flash is janky.
Right. Wait.
The same thing happens with AirPlay mirroring,
all I would see is a black box.
What?
On my television, all I would see is a black box.
Yeah.
Are you sure?
100%.
So what is the point of it then?
Well,
that's not right. I mean, that's not what they depict in the commercial.
So the point is, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to go to YouTube.com, and YouTube.com, the people at YouTube, in their player will have a Chromecast button, which they do. So you just hit Chromecast in the player, and that automatically sends it to the dongle.
Yeah, but what if I want to watch something that isn't on YouTube?
Then you are going to get a weird black box.
I hope it's Netflix.
Well, then what's the point of
What's the point of being able to
send?
Right?
What's the point of being able to send that at all?
But it's the same with AirPlay. Like, it's the same. It's literally the same thing that happens.
If I full screen, if I mirror an AirPlay, or if I send a video to AirPlay, if I'm in the video player and I say send to my TV, it full screens the video.
Right, and Chrome does that too. If you're in the video player and you send to the TV, Chromecast does that too. It's when you are sending the tab and the tab is playing Flash video that Flash doesn't know. Hold on,
I keep seeing in the control room. John is like trying to explain this to us. John, go.
Oh, well, so Vimeo's probably a partner.
So, John, can this broadcast hear you or not?
We need to get to the bottom of this. I'm sure this is thrilling for people watching the Vergecast right now.
No, but I know the answer because it's literally it's the same issue that I have.
I don't know if you do know the answer.
But I run AirParrot on my Mac, right, which lets you send Windows to AirPlay, right?
Okay.
It works until you try to full screen a Flash video. Because then Flash steps in front of the browser and full screens like locally on your computer. So the thing that you're full screening is no longer being sent.
Hey, control room, can we just go send someone to test this out? Like literally just go around the corner and test it.
I'm dying to know.
And then so we'll have the answer soon. We're just gonna send troops.
And so
to
if
do
they were
this.
showing Vimeo at the thing yesterday, that's because of Vimeo. You're doing it on the TV behind us.
Okay.
What's happening?
Can we roll out the TV and make it very dramatic?
This is very strange. Josh, I wish you were here with us.
Yeah.
I wish I was there with
you
you
only
as well.
Come in.
The TVs behind us are doing nothing.
Just
what's happening?
I don't know. Control room singing in our ear. Let's just
All right, so
we'll move on.
So here's the other thing that I think is very strange about Chromecast. Because I've been tracking, as you may know, Google TV very closely.
Yes.
As it dies its slow, inevitable death.
Well,
because it's a bad product.
Despite what they said today.
So the guy who was introing the Chromecast on stage yesterday is Rishi Chandra, who was the head of Google TV.
Right.
So, the fact that he's introducing a new product that has nothing to do with Google TV, I was like, oh, man, is Google TV dead?
Right.
And everyone's like, no, it's not. We're going to keep making them. Sundar Pichai, yet today, was
head of Chrome and Android.
He's like, we're putting more effort behind it than ever.
Right.
And it's like, why?
I think that's a lie. I don't believe that.
Yeah. It's like, I just don't know what. They said they're going to update Google TV to add Chromecast support.
But here's the thing. Once they do that, they're probably not doing anything else with it. It supports Cast. We're done with this.
I don't know. We're moving on. This is probably one of
peace, and then they drop the mic.
This is one of. I will say this: we've watched Google and other companies try to compete with AirPlay for years. Right. I think AirPlay is if you had to ask me why I have an iPhone, still have an iPhone, there are two reasons: it's AirPlay and iMessage. Straight up, those are the reasons. The game. There are some games and apps that I couldn't get otherwise, but I would live right. But those two things have me locked in. So the idea that Google can finally compete. And they've tried to compete. Remember when they showed us the Nexus 4 and they're like, look at Miracast, it's the best. And it's that went nowhere for them, just nowhere.
I actually think this idea is sort of brilliant in a way, if they can get people to partner with them.
But you got Apple has the same problem with AirPlay. The only real meaningful difference right now is that Apple has had years and years of getting people to partner with them.
Built into any iOS device, just there.
No, it's not.
OS
Look,
10.
HBO Go. We ran stories about HBO Go adding AirPlay support just recently.
Right, but okay, yeah, that's true. It took a year or so to get.
I mean, they're the same thing. Like all the content companies still have to partner to make this work, right?
No, I guess you're right. I think the thing is, by the way, I don't interact with when I want to watch something, I use my Apple TV. I actually turn on the Apple TV, go to. See, they need a partner like Amazon where I can buy stuff and rent stuff. I know YouTube does some purchasing and renting, but that's just not how I get my content.
Josh, you're getting all bandwidthy again, by the way.
You've gone DRS again.
Yeah. Oh, no. Hold on a second. Wait a second. Let me try something.
There's some crazy stuff happening on the TVs back here.
How's this?
Oh,
Can you hear me now?
This is like complete behind the scenes.
What about now? How's this working?
Everything we have is just like JPEGs and shit.
In any way improved?
I don't know. Go back to Josh's video. See what happens.
You know what I think the problem is?
What's that?
I
It's
don't
much better.
IRC. Let me see if I quit IRC if that has any issue.
IRC is a noted bandwidth hog.
Is it? It should be.
Absolutely not, dude. I've gotten IRC to work over like go-go connections on airplanes where I haven't even paid for it yet. They're just like, whatever. It's a couple of characters of text.
How about now?
I don't know.
Can you see me now?
I see myself. Hold on.
No.
Let's switch over.
You can't see me?
John isn't letting us. Oh, there we go.
You look better.
Oh, okay, fine. Is my video okay?
All right.
Yeah,
I don't
good.
care if you don't. There's nothing here to see. Okay.
Right. So here's the thing. So here's the things Chromecast can't do, and I think this is actually really important.
Right.
The number one thing it can't do that I use AirPlay for all the time is it can't stream audio. So all the time, I'm like, I want to listen to stuff on Spotify.
Doesn't it work with Google
And I
Play
turn on my
Music?
home theater.
Right.
And I just do it. And
I
it just
solved
works.
this problem with Sonos.
Yeah, but I'm not going to buy it. Sonos.
What?
Sonos is expensive, and Apple TV is
It's a
$99.
very expensive solution, but a very good solution.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You can buy a really great Pioneer AirPlay speaker system for $199.
Yeah,
and that can be that's like a legit stereo.
You can't just send the audio just from Spotify to AirPlay.
Yeah, you can. I do it all the time.
Does it have a separate
Not
AirPlay
on the
button
Mac.
in it now?
You're thinking about the Mac. With the Mac, you have to buy
No,
airfoil.
for the Mac. That's what I'm saying.
No, but you just buy airfoil. It costs $20, which is
Oh,
still.
man, forget it. I've been down that
you know what
road.
that's cheaper
I've been
than?
down that road.
Cheaper than Sonos.
It's not better. It doesn't work better.
It works. I don't
Sonos
use
is
it on the
dope,
Mac.
Man.
I
I'm
use
a Sonos convert. I've seen the light.
You were real mad at Sonos about 2 weeks ago. I don't know what happened
I
to
was
you.
freaking out because I couldn't get the setup working. But once I got it working, all I do was buy an HDMI switcher. Right. Once I got the setup
Once I bought this other expensive thing, it worked great.
No, it wasn't that expensive. I bought an expensive one. You can get them for $50 from Monoprice.
Yeah.
But I will say this: it's a very expensive, relatively complex problem. But I was trying to find a whole house, holistic, completely seamless solution. Right. And I have a 3-story house, and so it's hard to deal with and I've found that the airport the extenders with the headphone jack you can plug into something.
Yeah, no, that stuff sucks.
That stuff all gets very sloppy very quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's a different problem. But I hear what you're saying. I used to do the same thing. I would AirPlay music because I had my Apple TV hooked into my receiver, so I could just turn on the receiver and AirPlay music to it.
Right.
But you
without having to
can't,
have my
right
TV
at this
on.
second, you can't do that with Chromecast. And I think that's...
Well, you can't do it. If you plug it into your... Wait a second. If you have an HDMI... If you have an open USB and HDMI jack on your AV receiver, couldn't you plug it in there and run it just as a channel streaming music?
No, I don't think so. I mean...
Why not?
I don't know if it would do that. We have to try it. I don't know if that'll work. I mean, that's
you can
crazy.
stream Google Play. You can stream Google Play music, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But
and
so
before we get too far, just there's if you want to know more experience on the AirPlay versus Chromecast, we've got a great chart.
I
from
like this.
Yeah, we actually do have a tremendous breakdown of the AirPlay versus.
All credit to
all credit
to Dylan Thorpe on our Vox design
and the
team.
Apple TV beat the pants off of Chromecast in its current state, in my opinion.
Yeah, but it's also $35.
It also just got released one day ago.
Right.
Yeah. No, there's no doubt.
There wasn't all of this support for AirPlay. Nilay is correct in that there wasn't all the support for AirPlay day one. The question is, Google has a really shitty track record for getting support for products like this. So can they get people to support this product?
Right.
You know,
but I think
like,
what their sell is easy. It's because if you think about everything else, which was DLNA, which is a huge failure, and like, dude, nerds, I don't care if you think the DLNA is successful and you use it with your PS3 at home. I'm telling you that people who have worked at the DLNA organization are like, this is a huge failure. Let me pitch you on my new startup, which makes DLNA easy. Like that is like a routine pitch that I get.
Can we Vergecast ourselves?
Huh?
Oh wait. We
have a Chromecast.
Pick up the Nexus 7.
There's a Nexus 7 behind me. What am I doing?
You are going to Chromecast.
Chromecasting.
I don't know.
So I'm just opening Chrome. What am I doing?
I don't know.
How do I do this? Nothing's happening.
no, I think you have to. Didn't you want to do it from a computer? Isn't that our discussion?
Oh yeah.
Let's see if we can.
Is it gonna find?
You have the plugin.
No. Okay. Here I got it. Here. So here's YouTube.
What's it gonna do?
On my computer. I'm gonna cast this tab, which is the best.
Whoa.
There it is.
There we go.
Right.
Okay.
Josh, you can't see this.
I have no idea what's going on, but I'm
we on
enjoying
this camera back
hearing
here?
this.
So
they can see us.
So it's going to run an ad. Do you see this playing? Now the video is playing back here. I'm going to hit full screen on the YouTube player, and it's not going to work. Oh, shit, it worked.
Dude, it worked upstairs.
No, it didn't work upstairs.
It did work upstairs.
Didn't work
Wait,
upstairs.
is it working?
Here, go to our own site. Go to Uyala, which is not a Google player.
Yeah, that didn't work upstairs.
All right.
Wait, what's happening?
It worked. I full screened the flash video and it worked.
And it worked.
Let's see if this works in Uyala.
See?
Oh, God, this is going to be so weird.
Here. All right. This is live stream. Let's watch us.
This is complete Inception.
Top right. Full screen. Full.
It worked.
I don't know what's going on.
Josh, if you want to look, I guess.
This is so weird.
See? It works just fine.
I look so intense.
No. Full screen and then go to a different tab and see what happens.
I can't. It's full screen on my computer.
Can you just switch apps then? Like, can you just leave Chrome alone? Like, it'll stay here and then just do something else.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't know.
No, none of that's working.
Okay.
This is so weird. I just want you guys to know what I am seeing right now at this second is I'm looking at my laptop screen, which is showing me looking at my laptop screen, and on the screen behind me is me looking at my laptop screen. This is so weird.
I can hear the control room cracking up right now.
And then there's Ross.
What's up?
Ross has a different head in every single one of these screens.
I don't know what's happening, but it sounds really entertaining. You know what I'll do?
Can't
Hold on, wait.
begin to tell you how crazy this looks.
I want to really kill my bandwidth right now. Just do whatever you're doing. Keep doing it because I want to see. I'm going to watch.
What I'm doing is I'm experiencing a reality that
I need to lose weight about 1.5 minutes ago. Shit. Hold on.
There's literally there's me.
In 30 seconds, I'll be way better.
And then there's. Yeah, no, I can see that it's a problem because.
Sorry, control.
So they just told me to fix my earpiece, but I can see it because I'm seeing 4 of myself. Chromecast, man.
Is this good or bad? I can't really tell from your take on it.
Josh is looking at it. Aren't you looking at it?
No, I'm now loading up our live stream so I can see it.
All right. Well, whatever.
Oh my God!
It's over.
Wait, is that being Chromecast right there?
That is being Chromecasted right now.
Oh wait, I got to turn this down.
How insane is that?
Yeah.
It's great. Where am I? I don't see myself in this.
Well, if we switch to you,
let me Chromecast again for you, bro.
Well, here's the thing: is Neil, if you Chromecast fast, like if these switch, it'll kind of delay a little bit. I think we might be able to see it.
I think Flash just crashed my computer.
It's an enormous delay right now, and it's exciting and weird and upsetting and exciting.
All right.
Oh, look at this! Isn't that nice?
We're back.
How nice that.
Can we switch to Josh? There you go. I'll let Josh see himself.
Yeah.
Let's see how long this delay is. We can see.
It's an
people at home
extraordinarily long delay.
It really is. It's several minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I get to see all of your previous facial reactions to everything that was happening. This is pretty incredible. Anyhow, this has got to be one of the worst Vergecasts of all time. I think when I think about in the the canon of horrible Vergecast, this one.
Well, look.
Oh,
all right.
Oh God, is that what my shot looks like? You really cropped up way in there, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
What's going on with
this is so weird.
Hair right here.
Oh, there it is. Look, well, I'm glad the Chromecast.
Hair adjustment. Verge,
I'm glad
bingo.
I'm closing the tab.
It.
It's over. I'm glad the Chromecast let Josh check his hair. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that was really weird, and I'm sorry that I
like.
got it wrong earlier. Although I swear that didn't happen upstairs.
Whatever. It did.
All right, I'm gonna whatever.
It looks like you don't really know much about technology. I
don't know
one thing
anything
that we
about
can agree on
Chromecast.
is that your knowledge of technology is amateur at best.
Yeah. I mean, I just can't believe that happened.
You know, it's funny. I was so excited because I just disabled Flash completely from Chrome.
Yeah.
Right.
And then I just realized that live stream doesn't. It only live streams using Flash.
Flash
Like it was like,
yeah.
sorry, you have to gave me like a you're gonna have to get Flash.
Yeah.
Like warning, and that sucked.
All right, let's talk about Motorola real quick. Are we
Right.
done with Google?
I think so.
The
Yes.
Chromecast, just the review's coming. I gotta go play with it some more.
Right, next 7 reviews coming and Top Shelf.
I
is all
haven't.
about
Somebody
Google
just
on
tweeted an
Monday.
amazing shot of Vergeception, by the way.
I don't.
So let me understand what
What
you were
is
doing there.
happening?
You took the live stream of our Vergecast and
Yes.
then you hit the Chromecast button and it sent that in full screen to the Chromecast
Yes.
Yes.
unit
Yes.
dongle.
Yes.
It's great.
And then I
By the way,
watched-
Matt Honan wrote something good about he spent a night with Chromecast, and I just read a little bit of it while we were trying to figure out it's what you can and can't do with it. And it's a pretty good, like, not a long post. It's a short little post on Wired that was helpful.
Yeah.
But hopefully, not hopefully, we will cover all of this in our review, which is going to be going up.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I have to say, look,
soon.
you're right, Josh. Google has a terrible track record of supporting this stuff.
Yeah.
I think Miracast is like
getting support for it.
no,
and
and
also-
Miracast is the example. Right, last year when the Nexus 4 came out, they were like, "Look at Miracast. The certification's going through. This is going to be the shit.
Right,
like
right.
all the TVs are going to have it." And like, it is nowhere. It just like died on the vine.
It's not their. That wasn't their standard though.
Yeah.
Right, but they were like, "This is the one. Like, this is our AirPlay," and they showed us and like mirroring the phones and
I
TVs.
think they were showing that they never really committed to Miracast in like
And also, like, there was no flagship Miracast device, really. And, like, this is also worst case scenario, the Chrome browser mirrors, and you can see videos there.
Right, but this is what I'm saying.
That's gonna be
none
enough,
of the
probably,
standards that have ever tried to
sustained.
take on AirPlay have ever succeeded. It's
Right.
always been AirPlay and then like mishmash of crap.
Right.
And wide-eye, right? Intel pushed wide-eye forever. Like it's not going to
Remember that.
happen for you. And so I think Google's like learned the lesson. They like built a weird proprietary thing that like leverages some standards, but it's still
Right.
like a weird proprietary thing called Google Cast. And they built a device that's $35 that uses it. And I think it's like really strong. But it is a weird like. What's particularly strange about it to me is that it runs on Chrome. It's a Chrome standard. It's not
Right.
like an Android standard. It's like they're literally leveraging Chrome as what it is and not anything else. And I think that's like that is one of the more interesting like Google, like only Google can pull that off in this way because Chrome runs everywhere. And you know, Apple will never do that. Like Microsoft won't do it that way. And I think
Right.
that's like I don't know. Look, the review is coming. I'm very excited about it. I'm excited about what I just saw, and I'm excited about where my mind frankly went.
All right.
Let's talk about these
Okay.
droids.
Droids.
Can I just say something?
Yeah.
While you were saying that, man, I don't know what's going on here. Forget it. I'm not even going to get into what I'm looking at. It's not worth. After we're done, I'm going to tell you something. You're going to be shocked.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
So, droids.
Droids. I went to the droid event.
So sick of
I'm
droids.
sorry.
Droid.
All right.
they really need to do something about the droid branding, just in general.
Look, so they were like, you know, so we go to the event, super weird event. It was at Juilliard. It was very strange.
Really?
Yeah, it was just in a weird room and like at Juilliard. I don't know, man. It was, and they like, it was like we were at a wedding.
Okay.
It was circular tables, like wedding tables.
What?
And in the middle there was like these like weird plastic boxes that looked like lamps.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, these light up, and they're like, and then like they sat us down. They started the event right away, like super fast. Like they opened the doors and they started talking like while we were still sitting down, like plugging in our laptops
Wow.
to like live vlog. The whole event was 5 minutes long. They're like, the guy from Verizon was like, and the droids are really important to us, and we love the brand. The guy from Motorola was like, droids are awesome. Here are 3 new droids. Here are the price points. Thank you very much. And then they lifted the lamps, and the
And
droids
they're
were there.
right there.
And so we got to play with them. So it's the Droid Mini, $99. The Droid Ultra, which is
Right.
$199, which is the thin one, and the Droid Max, which has the battery for $299.
Right.
You've seen them.
And
If
look,
you're listening to this, I'm sure you saw them on
Not just the
site.
battery, the 48-hour.
The 48-hour battery. They told a number of incredible lies. I'll just tell you that right now.
All right, we'll jar.
The first lie was that they're all running the Motorola 8X computing platform,
What the hell is that?
which is just a Qualcomm processor. Just a regular old Qualcomm processor.
Great.
And so they counted 8 cores. This is how they got there. They counted the regular 2 cores
Okay.
of the processor. They counted the 4 graphics cores,
Or to 6.
which is nobody else does that.
Yeah.
And then the processor has features. One of them is voice recognition, and they called it a voice recognition core, a natural language processing core.
This makes sense. That makes sense.
And then they were like, and then another core that just monitors the sensors.
This is up there with Microsoft's 3 platforms for the Xbox.
Yeah, it's like, they were like, literally, like, they were like, we had this custom 8-core processor. And then, like, a couple hours after the event, everybody figured out that they were just lying.
Wow.
That there was just a regular dual-core, mid-range Qualcomm processor at 1.7 gigahertz. And I feel bad because I didn't figure it out until we got back. So if you watch our hands-on video, I'm there, like, being like, and it's an 8-core processor. And thank you, Motorola, for making me tell a lie. The second lie that they told, and they were like, really...
Lies Motorola tells.
Yeah.
The Neil Patel story.
And the second one was, so all these screens are 720p, which is for a $299 phone, like a dual core processor and a 720p display is like, you're buying that battery. You're not buying like flagship specs.
Right. But I love how we're using Chromecast now to like see it for ourselves in the background.
Oh, we're doing Chromecast.
Yeah,
That's cool.
Chromecasting.
Ooh, that's very clever. Now show 15 pictures of me. Okay. So I've been very
I wish I could
harsh.
just see a little bit of what was happening.
I was very harsh on Motorola's previous phones for having crappy pentile displays.
Right.
Because they were crap. And I called them crap. And Motorola, like when I got to the event, they're like, man, you're going to love these new screens. They're not pentile.
Right.
Which is like a shade of the truth. Right. So what they are is they're like better. They're drastically better screens than the old displays. But they're not like iPhone or HTC One caliber displays. They're still OLED and they're doing all kinds of weird stuff, but they're lower resolution and they still have like a weirder pixel arrangement.
Right.
It's just weirder. It's like different. And so like, I just don't know. I don't know what okay, they have good features too.
Okay.
One, the voice activation core is always listening.
This ultra creepy one that we thought about that was just Moto X at the time.
Yeah, so these are a huge preview of the Moto X, right? So the phone is always listening just for the words, okay, Google now. That's all it will recognize. It's not doing, Google's not always listening to you. Just the phone is listening locally for those words.
Right.
And then it connects you to Google Now and you can like talk to it. That's cool. Right. Yeah. And the voice training is good. Like the rep at the event, he had it trained to his voice and I couldn't make it go.
I just imagine you screaming, "Okay, Google."
I mean,
now.
yeah, we all tried it. It was like their party trick. Was we all tried it and it only worked with his voice.
But here's the thing: like, I can't believe it worked in like a crowd that crazy.
Yeah. So whatever, that works.
Fine.
And then their other feature.
And then what?
Very dramatic.
I don't want to say these words.
Just do it.
The other feature is called Droid Zap. And
I'm sorry. What? I'm sorry, could you just say that again?
it's Droid Zap.
Droid.
As in like
what?
laser pistol, pew pew. Zap.
Droid. Did you say Droid Zap?
Droid Zap.
Can you tell me what Droid Zap does?
The Droid Zap feature. When you take a photo on the phone,
All right.
And you want to share it,
I like this.
Okay.
to the people around you,
You do what?
You can
Say it.
you can zap it
Zap the photo?
to other people, and it goes to Google and other Droid owners. You can do a 2-finger swipe down, and you can look at all the.
Two finger
Because
swipe.
that's the
to
American
zap?
Sign Language for zap.
This means zap, and you can see for 2 minutes all the photos taken by the zappers around you.
So it's kind of like color.
Yeah. I don't know if they call them zappers. They should clearly be called zappers. So only droids can share to zap.
Okay.
There will be an Android
Only
app that can
people with
receive.
Droid handsets.
Yes. But there will be an Android app so that everybody can receive, which is insane because you know what's going to happen next week? Motorola is going to put out its flagship phone that can't use this feature. It will only be able to receive zaps, not put zaps onto the world.
But no one's going to use zaps to begin with.
No
so we don't
human
have to worry
being
about
will ever say these words ever again or do these things. I assure
There's
you.
no way in hell this is catching on.
Nope. So these are the two differentiated
I
features.
hate to break it to Motorola or Verizon or whoever is behind this scheme. Like, no one's going to Droid Zap anything to anybody. And certainly Droid owners are not going to collectively get together and, like, zap each other.
No. And, like, the idea that I'd be like, dude, I want to share a picture with you. Download this app to your phone and then do this weird shit is, like, not going to happen. Like, just useless.
Hey, by the way, hold on a second now.
Uh-oh.
Somebody just tweeted at me that you can AirPlay that our live Vergecast works without Flash on an iOS device.
Yeah, and you can AirPlay it.
Hold on a second.
Wait,
but I was
even
in
with
Chrome
Flash,
without
AirPlay
Flash,
Mirror.
and it was not playing.
No, this is the great Flash HTML5 idiocy of 2013, which is that everything works great on devices, mobile devices without Flash, because they've built cool HTML5 players. And then as soon as you get a laptop, it's like, well, welcome to hell.
So it's because it doesn't detect,
look
because
so
it's
sad.
detecting this as a desktop browser. It's not throwing me the HTML5 player.
That's exactly what's happening.
Can I spoof? I'm going to do a little user agent spoofing here.
All right.
Go nuts.
Wait, how do you user agent spoof in Chrome? I haven't had to user agent spoof in so long.
Yeah.
Hold a second.
I mean, it's not. You're not a young man anymore.
I'm not a young guy. I just want. I'm so
time to-
old. I just want it to work.
Time
Just
to
please. I'm an old person. There's a switcher. Hold on a second.
trying to UAS.
All right.
Access your data on all websites. Hold on, that doesn't sound good.
So in the interim, while he's doing that, is
So
there
in the
anything
interim,
else- yeah.
look, I don't understand. If you want to, we'll get the phones. We'll review them.
Yeah.
I think they're coming out August 20th, and the Mini, which is $99, same spec, smaller screen,
Right.
4.3, 720p, all coming out August 20th for the two big ones, the 29th for the. Oh God, why?
By the way, we just ran a story that Google has ended its Netflix promotion for the Chromecast.
Oh really?
Right. Which it's
due
essentially
to
made free.
overwhelming demand for Chromecast devices since launch.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, people want they're $35. Like,
Right.
it's a good idea. I think the Chromecast, if they just don't forget about it, which is like a Google thing to do,
Right.
it will be good. People will like it.
But even if I can pay $35 to like just mirror my Chrome, like that's fine. Like mirror my Chrome
Yeah.
browser, that's more than enough.
Zap my droid.
Zap my droid. Is there anything else to say about that? Or should we start?
Well, I
moving
just
on
want
to
to look. So the last thing we should talk
Yeah.
about is next week is
Right.
the Moto X. And I think we already. I mean, I don't know what they can do. Josh. I'm actually curious what you think, because I think Dieter ran a story after the new droids. What's left for the X?
Right.
And I think we saw all of the software stuff they're going to do. Right? They're going to do this
Right.
voice activation. They're going to do. You can like shake it to turn on the camera. Like what? Why do you? Can you? I just don't know why Google bought Motorola. I still don't know the answer. I don't think these three droids explain to me.
It's patents.
I think
It's patents.
I think if your business model is putting out $290 phones with like utterly mid-range specs, that's great. Then Google should have bought Motorola. I don't think that's what they're interested in.
Let's figure out a little bit of let's figure this out, okay? Why would Google want Motorola?
Well, the answer is patents.
Patents.
Okay, and that like blew up.
Let me think. No, we don't know. We don't know. There
I
could
definitely
be maybe
know
they
that's the
wanted to
answer.
make an incredible phone.
No, but they haven't done it, right?
Maybe they wanted Motorola's IP.
Those are called patents.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a second. They wanted their IP. they wanted their patents? Yeah, I guess that's possible. I
But
mean,
like the patents I just don't understand. Like,
I think
what
that
can they do with the
when
X
they bought,
now?
When they bought Motorola, they needed to protect.
Right.
There was a fear that it was going to be an all-out shitstorm of a patent war.
Right.
Number one. Number two, I think that somewhere in the back of their mind, they were like, "Hey, if this thing doesn't work out with us having hardware partners, we could always build our own."
yeah, so all of that time has passed, right? We know. It seems like we know what the Moto X will be, right? I think we have a really good preview of these three phones.
The one thing I'm very curious about with the Moto X, this is one of the rumors from our pieces. Based on the specs, we expect the Moto X could sell for as little as $199 off contract. And now this would make sense for what Google wants to do. They want to sell things outside of the contracts. T-Mobile's going to be very happy for that idea. That seems like an insanely cheap number for me. I don't know. I don't see how they could do that, especially if the Droid Mini itself is $99 on contract.
Yeah, I mean,
But
look,
if you can get a decent, not Nexus, you get a decent stock Android experience with a few little tweaks or whatever, for $200 off contract, take T-Mobile.
let me just give you.
Fine.
Let me just present a scenario to you. You are a human being.
Let's pretend.
Yes.
Okay.
You walk into a Verizon store.
All right.
In front of you is this lineup of droids.
Yes.
In front of you is the Moto X. Why would you pick the Moto X?
I wouldn't pick any of those.
Well, right.
Yeah, but right.
But that I don't know how they're going to answer
you're
that
right.
question.
You're right. For any of those people, like, you're not going to get the Moto X unless you're like, probably buying it directly from Google, or like it's free, or they're giving
Right.
you
Or
money.
you're going to design your own phone.
But then again, we don't know.
Which is a cool lie that they've
Maybe
done.
it's something we don't expect that they're going to announce next week.
Yeah.
And they're making a huge deal out of it.
They are making a huge deal out of it. So we'll find out next week. Josh, do you know what they could do? Do you have any deep thoughts
Any
about this?
insight?
Because I'm
About
just
with the Moto X.
yeah. Why does
Yeah.
why does the Droid Mini exist in the same world as the Moto X? The Droid Mini is $99 on contract, has the same specs.
I mean,
presumably
Because the
software
only
features.
phones that Motorola sells are phones through Verizon stores called Droids.
Yeah.
And no, that's true. They're not selling any other phones anywhere else. They're selling just Droids. And I mean, I assure you that's the only place where Motorola devices are still actually selling in any decent amount. And so they have to do that because they want to have some kind of business. They don't want to constantly just be like a weird write down for Google.
Right.
And I think the Moto X is them taking a stab at having a standalone device as like as a free agent.
Right.
I don't think it gets them like to the goal line in the way that they want it to, because I think it's going to be a relatively, unless they really introduce something just mind-blowing that no one saw coming, I think it's going to be a relatively unexciting device. I think the issue is Motorola doesn't have, I mean, it's cool they're making it in America. That's kind of a cool selling point. Like, I would definitely consider a device made in America. I mean, we've talked about this before.
Right.
I definitely will seriously consider the device if it is up to, I mean, you know, at this point it needs to be as good, if not better, than the Galaxy S4 or the HTC One.
Hey, so I will give you that. The Droids are running, their Android is about as close to stock. Like their home button.
But it's not stock though.
It's stock. Like it's stock. The differences
No,
the differences that I noticed on, they're running 4.2.2, and the differences are when you pull down the notification shade, the icon to go to settings is different. They have the Motorola.
No, their icons are all different.
Their icons are not all different. That it's like four icons are different.
Okay.
Like literally, it's like 4 icons. There's a bunch of
several
Verizon
icons are
shit on there, and they have that Motorola widget with the circles. They're now referring to as the Droid Command Center.
What are they calling?
From
What
which
is that?
you zap your friends.
No, you don't tap from the command. Their widget is now called the Droid Command Center. You can do stuff with it.
Okay. I mean, yeah,
those are the
this
differences.
definitely looks
Right.
different than, I mean, the phone icon is different. The people icon is different. Like, you know, there are differences here.
I see.
Also, it's a disgusting Droid wallpaper. I'm looking at, I mean, it's
There's
so
that stuff.
foul.
Yeah.
It's just like, these designs are just awful. Like, I maybe they sell them. Maybe they're selling really well for Verizon. But I find they're it's not as bad. Look, it's not as bad as what Samsung does to Android.
No.
Anyhow, I think the insight on the only insight that I have about why they're making Droids is that they have to make them because they need to sell something, because they want to still be a business. The Moto X is their attempt, I think, to break out of we're the guys who make droids for other people and try to break into getting back to we're Motorola, a company that has actual products that you might be interested in. And look, I'll be honest with you. If they make this really cool, colorful, interchangeable, whatever, and it's a well-spec'd device and it has a great price point, and it has LTE, and it's a device I can just go and buy somewhere, like, I think that'll be, and it's made in America, I think that'll be a pretty cool, attractive option for some people who really care about that stuff. But
Right.
you know,
Let me
will it
just
be
ask you this
attractive
question.
Will it be
Why would
attractive
you
next to an
change
iPhone
the
5S
color?
or the Galaxy S4? Like, probably not.
Why would you change the color of the phone? It's the same icon, only theirs is green and the stock is blue.
Which one?
The phone icon.
Is it the same icon?
It's the same icon, only theirs is green, which is
Okay.
hilarious.
Well, that's just, that makes more sense to people.
Sure. And then they changed the people
They have
icon.
badges.
But the camera icon is the same. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, why not just do it with stock everything?
Yeah.
And throw in a couple of Droid wallpapers
And the widgets.
and
the sounds,
a
whatever.
couple of custom widgets.
And don't forget Zap.
Right.
And of course Zap.
By the way, so
they
I
also have
got.
the new-
I will say this. So all the phones at the event where they had all the sound turned off, and I thought that meant the Droid sounds were gone. I thought I was like sitting on the scoop of the century.
I remember you got here and I got so excited.
I was like literally calling everyone who's still there, like try, and then they're like, our video guy Zach, he actually got one and played it over the phone for me, and it's the opposite. It's not that the Droid sounds are gone; it's that they're more obnoxious than ever.
Really?
Oh yeah, there's like metallic scraping sounds and like the wailing
really?
of babies after it says Droid.
All right.
It's terrible.
that sounds cool to me.
Yeah, it's the best.
I love like when the device is overtly robotic,
Oh yeah, it's the best.
natural, because it's like it reminds me of 1999. And I think that's really cool. It reminds me of like the age.
Oh yeah, it's the Matrix.
Age
Oh,
of
not
the
not
Matrix.
Prince, not Prince.
Dude, you know, we just sent a bunch of people to Comic-Con, and I requested one thing, one investigative report from Comic-Con.
which is
When are they going to remake the Matrix? Because we're going to hit
hold
that.
on. I
Oh,
can't give you that.
that's definitely happening.
I can't give you that, but I can give you Quentin Tarantino talking about the Matrix.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you say?
Hold on.
You weren't there.
No, I wasn't there.
What do you
We
mean,
sent a
hold
bunch of
on?
people
What are you about to bust out here?
Hold on, I'm looking for it. It may be old as hell. I saw it on Reddit today. Anyway, I'll find it later. But
Because this is my theory. Like, we've now remade every movie in the style of the Matrix.
Right.
So at some point, we have to remake the Matrix in the style of the Matrix. Just think about it. There's no other reality that can possibly exist.
and Keanu Reeves
I
can
feel
still
like
star
I'd like
in
to
it.
see the Matrix remade in like a totally different style.
No, that would be the obvious thing to do. But what Hollywood will do is to remake. I'm just gonna happen. It's just gonna happen, and they're gonna let like Peter Berg do it.
Okay,
It's
so
gonna be
check it
crazy.
out. So I just want to say something because somebody tweeted me about this.
All right.
So HTML5 live stream player works fine in Safari. It does not work in Chrome
Yeah,
on my laptop,
yeah.
and that is annoying. Why doesn't that work?
I don't know, man. This is a great
I
web
hate
browser hell of
everything.
2013.
I hate
it
everything.
makes sense that it works in Safari because Safari doesn't have
You know
Flash
what
by
I should
default.
do? You know what I should
The
do? I
Chrome-
should just set my user agent to Safari.
Oh,
I'll just set
God.
my user
What's
agent to
happening?
Safari in Chrome.
Yeah, maybe it'll work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it will work.
Have you played Shadowrun? I feel like I should play Shadowrun.
Okay, hey, I'll talk about Shadowrun for a second. So,
Okay.
so we ran a post today about Shadowrun, which is it's a new RPG, cyberpunk RPG,
Right.
available on Steam today. It was a crowdfunded project and
Windows
it's super
and Mac.
awesome looking. Andrew Webster wrote about it. I bought it on Steam, and when I load it up, it says like caching, and it never loads, and it's driving me insane.
It's
Yeah.
dude, it's the game, man. You're playing the game right now.
No, that's not the game.
Hack the game, yo.
You know what? I hate you. Anyhow, you should read. It's really cool though, and I mean, the game looks awesome. I can't wait to play it if I can actually play it.
You're playing it right now, Josh.
You should definitely check out the post on the site, the story on it. We did kind of like a little feature story on it. It's like a review / report / feature.
You should go see it.
It's very cool. We, by the way, an amazing amount of content this week. I hate calling it content, but if you guys, you really need to like go read back through the site. There's so much good stuff. Even today, we had this really cool thing that Trent Wolby wrote about the beaches in Malibu, which I had no idea. There's this thing that the beaches in Malibu, there's like all these public beaches, but people, like rich people, build these homes there, and then they act like the beaches are private.
Yeah.
And they do all kinds of crazy stuff. Like they build fake garages with like fake curbs.
Yeah,
And
the fake garage is insane.
Yeah.
no, David Geffen built like a fake garage with a fake curb, and people get tickets for parking there, even though it's a completely legal place to park. And like, but to keep people out of the beaches, but there's this app that will actually tell you which beaches are public and which you can go on. And you can basically like, when you're there, you can be like, oh, actually, if you look at, city code, section, whatever, like we're allowed to be on this beach, which is, I'm sure going to work really great when their security guards come out. But anyhow, that was cool. There's this Shadowrun thing. We did this piece on weed, which is really great. If you haven't seen it, as we talked about before, my interview with Ashton Kutcher went up. And this is just today. There's a bunch of other things I'm forgetting now, but just an enormous amount of fantastic stuff. Oh, the story about the plague. A squirrel in
God,
California
squirrel
got the
plague?
plague.
That picture looks so gross.
I don't want to look at it.
It's a terrifying story. It's actually really interesting though, because apparently the plague is not. The plague,
I can do that.
Oh yeah, Chromecast that because apparently the plague is hanging around just waiting for its moment, which I didn't really know.
Constantly waiting to strike.
Yeah.
But anyhow, there's a lot of good stuff. What else am I forgetting? Oh, next week we start Small Empires. That's exciting. I
Yeah.
don't know why I'm
Tuesday,
wrapping
July
up.
30th, first episode.
I'm wrapping up.
I have to say that Chromecast is really this is going to be dangerous for the Vergecast.
It's gonna be great for
What
the
do
Vergecast.
you mean?
The fact that I can just put anything
do
on the
this right
screen
here.
that I want with my
I
web
think that's
browser.
awesome.
Yeah.
It's the,
You better be careful though.
how do I,
what I'm saying?
can I just Google sick porno? Is that going to work? No.
Please don't. Let's try to keep it remotely clean. Do I want to use this switcher?
Can you Google remotely clean porno?
I mean, you can Google whatever you want.
Oh, that's porn. That's remote. That's literally just a. Never mind. I didn't actually Google anything. It's TV magic. It's like when they made the horse sounds with the coconuts. There wasn't really a horse there. Josh, do you want to wrap up the show?
I'd like to. I really would because I want to get back to trying to get Shadowrun to play.
Yeah.
All right.
Hold on a second. Is this for real? This is insane.
What?
Sorry, I just want to be able to switch my user agent effectively and quickly. And this is not
Truly everyone's dream.
So
this is the worst of all time. The worst Vergecast.
You know,
of
you
all
could
time.
you could just use Safari.
yeah.
No, please, come on.
All right.
Don't be ridiculous. I'm not using Safari.
Hey, Safari has way better battery life on OS 10.
Is that right?
Just absolutely better. Yeah.
My battery life has been very good. I have no complaints.
Well, you
My
have a new MacBook Air.
It's been very good.
When we did the battery test in Safari, it was like 14 hours on that computer, and Chrome was 12.
It's not that
Which is
much of a
like
difference.
It's a lot. It's a big difference. Yeah. Anyway, Josh,
In the show.
do the thing that you do.
Well, that's the Vergecast for this week. If you'd like to get in touch with us, you can email us at vergecast@theverge.com. You can find us on Twitter. We're at Verge. I'm Joshua Topolsky. Nilay is Reckless. Ross is Oh No Roscoe. No E on the end. You can also leave a comment in the post when it goes up. You could start a forum topic about something you didn't like on or did like on the Vergecast.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Surprising.
And that's it. That's the whole thing.
Oh, can I tell you? Can I tell you a story about Paul ending the show
Sorry.
last
Just
week?
cut
I don't know
right
if this
in
made
there.
it into the show.
It did not, unfortunately, but we just died
Last
laughing.
week, we're ending the show,
Right.
and I
Just
say
say
rock and roll,
yeah.
and Paul was here, and he looked completely scared,
Yeah.
and then he just looked at the camera and said, "Peace." I just want to point out, Paul's catchphrase is his own name,
He forgot it.
and he blew it. Like he was just like, "Peace." It was very strange. Anyway, I don't understand him.
Rock and roll.
I've been trying for years. All right, Josh, you can. I just wanted to.
Oh, I can finish wrapping up. Hold on. I just
Peace.
switched my user agent here. I want to see if this
No. Bye.
I want to see if this works while we're live on the air. It does not work. Does not work. No. Oh wait. Hold on. I get the impression this is bunk. This is not actually functioning.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get IP blocked here in a second.
All right.
All right.
Can't be done. Removed from Chrome forever.
This is how we're ending our show today.
Seriously?
No, we're not.
Peace.
Okay, well, okay, guys. Thank you for really. I just am so thankful that you decided to choose. You really deserve what you got when you think about it. All right, that's our show. We'll be back next week, and as always, your family is in danger, and there's nothing you can do about it. But I'm sure everything will end up all right.
Rock and roll.